physically threaten me. Physically threaten me.
Dean Cain, American heartthrob, Superman to millions. He's patriotic, smart, kind, and very generous. Maybe too generous. He's recently made friends with Gabe El-Taib, co-creator of the amazing new comic, Truth, Justice, American Way. Dean has put his full-throated support behind this book. Or has he? Okay, this is the last thing, and I will get you the heck out of here. Do you think people should buy right now? Should they click the link and buy Truth, Justice, American Way? And why is it the greatest comic book ever? Why do you think that?
Well, they should buy it for sure, without a doubt. Right now, click it, go. I'm going to do it after this is over. So if I did it now, I think weird things would happen. And they should do it because Gabe is a big man and he physically threatened me.
Physically threaten me. Physically threaten me.
If I didn't say this,
That's right.
that he was going to choke me out and teach me what truth, justice, and the American way is all about. So I can't wait to see it. I love it that it's counterculture, and it's counterculture just being patriotic and standing for all the things that I stand for. I can't wait.
Okay, well, thank you so much. So what's the truth about Gabe El-Taib? Madman, artist, poet, gentle lover? It doesn't matter. Buy the book or Dean Cain gets it.
Physically threaten me.
Wednesday, August 3rd, is me, your friend Gabe El-Taib. Guys, I'm excited, guys. This is finally happening. Jericho Green is with us, if you can believe it or not. One of the great AmeriCANs that I have ever had the pleasure to meet, at least electronically. We have not met in person, but we're both in the state of California. And quit telling us to move. We're staying here. We're going to win it back, damn it. It's too beautiful. Anyway, and also David Brohawk Williams, co-creator of the amazing Truth, Justice, American Way. He's here too, and we're going to have a grand old time. So welcome him in. Here he is, our friend Jericho Green, David Williams. I'm clicking on the wrong buttons. Here's all three of us. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in, friend.
Yes.
How are you doing, Jericho?
Beautiful. Great.
Okay.
Aside from the fact that my glasses just broke,
Awesome.
I'm gonna power through it, whether you're blurry or not.
Okay. It's like having beer goggles on. Don't flirt with me too much. You know, that's how the rumors start. That's how it gets started. Maybe the rumors will be good for our fame. But
all rumors are good rumors.
Right. Just spell my name right. There's no bad press. Thank you guys. They're coming in. You told them on your channel to head over this way, right?
I sure did. And I posted it on my YouTube page under community, and I put it on my Instagram page at JG Talk. But before I pass it off to Mr. D. Wams, I must thank you both. Not only for having me here, but for sending the swag that you sent me. Ooh. Now, to you, it might just be some cool things you have to send out. But to me, it's more than that. Because as I mentioned to you, Gabe, when we were talking, my brother is a huge comic book fan. My brother is a huge Star Wars fan, like sleeping on the sidewalk, waiting for a premiere. Huge fan. So for you to send the comic books that you sent to him.
He got them.
He got them. And he texted me immediately, like all caps, lots of exclamation points. Also, when I showed him what Dave sent me too, I had him spread out on the counter. I sent him a picture. He's like, dude, do you know what you have? So I thank you guys for that. You made somebody who's important to me happy. And I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Wow.
Glad I got there
My
safe.
honor, my pleasure. I hope he enjoys those. I got a ton of them. So the limited edition Alex Ross sketch covers for Star Wars #1 from 2014. So those are quite valuable on eBay. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he got it. Yeah, very awesome. Very awesome. Well, and one good turn deserves another. Thank you. So everyone knows what kind of guy Eric is. Or Jericho, I'm sorry. I looked over here and it said Eric. Sorry about that. Jericho is. I talked to you and told you my brother has been a fan of yours for years, and went through some hard times, divorce, this and that, and he loves listening to you, and you totally inspire him. And within, I was talking to you for like 2-3 minutes, and I asked you if you could call him and just say what's up to him. And he didn't answer, but you left him a voicemail, and he was really happy when I talked to him about the next day. So there you go. You're an awesome guy too, even off air. So it's fantastic. So,
Thank you.
so speaking of being on air, you're one of the premier guys in this space of cultural criticism and all this stuff. You do it with aplomb, man. You're hilarious. We were talking before the show, your improv skills, the nicknames you like Retardy B, that had me rolling. That's so good. How did you get into like YouTube and all this stuff? How did you find yourself going live every day to a bunch of screen names and just having your way with the leftists? How did you end up here?
About was it July 2018, I believe. That's when I started it. For some reason, if you look on my page, it'll say I started in 2014. That's news to me. July 2018, I was at home in my driveway washing my car, and I had YouTube or something on my speaker, my truck, and I was listening to, was it First Take or something, where it used to be Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman.
Right.
So I'm hearing these two dummies talk, and Max Kellerman starts going in on how tough it is for black quarterbacks in the NFL.
Oh,
and I just had enough. It was that moment. It was Tina Turner's moment in the limousine, and what's love got to do with it? It was.
You got me mid-drink, man.
My bad, man. My bad. I should have warned you. It was Ralphie's moment in Christmas Story where he had enough. And for some reason, I was like, that's it. That is it. I'm sick and tired of these fools saying these lies unchecked. How hard it is for a black quarterback in the NFL? Has he looked at the league minimum? That means if you sit on the bench, you making $650,000. That does not sound like a hard time to me. I don't care if you call me names and throw rotten fruit at me to and from the locker room. For that kind of money, holler at your boy. So they were telling these lies, and I said, you know what? I've heard people say what I think, but they're just not saying it how I want it said. So I think I'm the only one who could do that. I started my YouTube page. Very easy. If I can do it, you can. I did it on my phone.
Love it.
And I would hear stories and I would just talk. And I had about a 20-minute commute to work every day. And I didn't want to take a lot of time for my kids because at the time, my son was 2, my daughter was 6. So I just wanted to spend more time with them. You only have a finite amount of time with them with work. When you get home, bed, dinner, you don't have a lot of time. And I didn't want to take extra away from them. So I figured I'm sitting here on my way to work anyway. So I'd hold my phone. I didn't have a stand. I would just put my elbow on my center console and talk. And since I'm driving, I can't edit. So I have to do it in this 15, 20-minute commute. So I would always start at the same spot. On my way to that spot, I would think, I'd have some structure in my mind. It wasn't just record and whatever, but I would think, okay, I want to say this, blah, 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 whatever. And then when I hit that point, I would hit record and talk all the way to work. One take, Jake. And whatever was said. I've done probably 1,200 videos, and I've only re-recorded like 2 or 3. Wow. I figure, whatever, if this is it. People know authenticity. They know when you're lying. It's like watching a kid lie to his parents. It's painful to watch. It's painful. It's so obvious. So I figure whatever I'm saying, it's what I think, and take it, how you will. And I do have a background in radio. I worked at a radio station for about 5 years. So I do know, something of the structure of, what's up, Carolyn? Some of the structure of, speaking in a certain amount of time and stuff, but it's just me and my phone in my car. That's it.
Okay.
And 4 years later, 300,000 subs. I'm here with YouTube big ballers. So
that's right.
I did something right.
That's right. I love it. I love it. What you're talking about there, you're so right with authenticity. And as they say, if you're getting flack, you're over the target. And I do what you do. I record myself doing comic books, either illustrating or coloring or whatever, and I'll play them sped up, and I'll just do what you do, freeform. I'll say, I want to talk about fatherhood, and I'll improv for 8 minutes. And then you get a lot of good comments, and then you get, you're a misogynist, blah, blah, blah. And at least if they hate you or whatever, that you're reaching them. You're making them think a little whether they like it or not. Do you get comments like that? Because you're not controversial, but you're opinionated and you're sure of yourself and you have your views. So I imagine you get the same kind of comments I do. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, man. I love it, but it's the same one. And after a while, you learn, when they go straight to the insults, you have nothing to talk about. You have no arguments. You have no thoughts that you made up yourself. So, and I'll do that too. I am very comfortable on the low road. I will call people names. I'll say all kinds of horrible things to them. Because, I mean, if you're going to come at me like that,
Sure.
you know what I mean? It's like if you push me, I'm going to, you know, it's like, remember Dumb and Dumber? She threw the snowball at him and he like tackled her and rubbed it in her face. That's how I do it. If you're going to come at me like that and you don't know anything about me, I'm going to say whatever I can get from your profile picture. I'm going to say the most horrible things I can about it.
So you know what I've done to people? I just go to their Twitter and enlarge their profile picture, screenshot it, and send it back to them because they look like a dork or whatever. And you don't even write it, just send them back their picture.
But I get the, you know, of course I get the coon, sellout. My favorite is Uncle Tom. Because if you call somebody an Uncle Tom, you haven't read the book.
Thank you.
I thank you to anybody who calls me an Uncle Tom. Check out the book.
Hold on, Jericho. Tell the audience, we didn't talk about that before the show, right?
No.
Okay, David, please tell Jericho, how many times have I talked about the Uncle Tom book?
Ad nauseum, like all the time. We're always, because they come at me with that as well and stuff. So I tell, you know, Gabe, and then Gabe is like, Uncle Tom is the hero. You know, he's
the hero of the damn book. Stop it.
Look at these illiterate people. They don't understand. Gosh.
Because they've been told to say that, you know?
Right. I told David we should do a graphic novel of Uncle Tom's Cabin and just give it away for free on the internet. It's like, liberal people, please read this. It's not an insult.
Check it out. We'll make it like nice little bite-sized chunks for you mental midgets to handle. You know what would be cool is if you did a spin on it and Uncle Tom ends up going out and killing all these white liberals.
That's the R-rated version.
Because they're the worst thing to happen to America.
It is in the public domain, so anything's possible. You were talking about Max Kellerman playing the white savior. Jericho, you don't know how hard it is for me to watch you have racism perpetrated against you. That's the real tragedy here. As a white man, to watch a black man suffer, I don't like to throw around the word hero, but somehow I manage. You know, somehow. It's the most condescending. It's insane. You know, I was watching something with my daughter the other day on the internet, and it was just clown world insane shit. And I told her, you know what this makes me feel when I watch it? I told her, I asked myself, am I awake? Is this actually a dream? It's so absurd, like Kafka-esque nonsense. But then I look around the room and everything else is normal. So I figure I'm awake, but some of this stuff is unreal. Thinking about where we are today politically, and I'd love for you to get into it. We'll just no holds bars. You go, and Dave, if you got some. But can you remember back 10 years, 12 years, how it was fairly normal, we all thought, and where we are today? And where do you think this is going? I think we're swinging back. I think we're going to that is enough of woke. Everyone's had enough. What do you think, Jericho? And Dave, what do you think, Jericho?
I think you're right. And I hope you're right that the pendulum is swinging, because that's one thing for sure. The pendulum will swing. Right. It's just when. So I hope it's swinging the other way, because this is like, if you ever threw up like a little stomach bile in your mouth and it just leaves this bitter taste in the back of your, that's what this is. It's disgusting. It's not right. And even the dum-dums pushing it, you know that's not right. you know it's physically impossible for a man to carry, not only harbor a baby, but deliver one. And then when the baby gets here, where's he getting his milk from? Like, what are you? How
could you say such bigoted things, Jericho? How dare you? How dare you?
I said, is there such thing as conspiracy theory anymore? Is that gone now? Because like you said, 10 years ago, if they told you what was happening now, you would not believe it. Right. And not only would you not believe it, you wouldn't believe who's backing it and who's supporting it. Right. What? All the way up to that level? Yep. Yeah. So is there a such thing as conspiracy theory anymore? Because what we thought at one time it's policy now. So maybe there's no such thing as a conspiracy theory anymore, because if you give them enough time, it will become real.
You know, we got to stop with the conspiracy theories, because maybe we're giving them ideas.
Yeah, because they can't come up with any of their own.
They're like, maybe they're taking those. Yeah, I wasn't going to do that, but now that you bring it up, I like it, you know.
Bro, the top 3 people in charge of our country can't talk. That is sad. Yeah. They can't talk.
Right.
Biden, I don't even need to say nothing about him. His reputation speaks for itself. Kamala Harris, I call her the human salad shooter. Remember that product back in the 80s and the 90s? You put your salad ingredients in it and you squeeze the trigger and it shoots out all your ingredients. That woman just says word salad. It means nothing. She's talking in circles. She doesn't even remember what she said when she stepped off the stage.
I like her. She's like Saturday Night. Let me interrupt the show. We'll get right back to Salad Shooter and Clown World Politics. Special guest, my brother Abraham. It's my best friend. Parents got divorced. We were each other's peanut butter and jelly. I love this guy. He's my brother Abe. Jericho, he's your #1 fan. He wants to say what's up. Hey, Abe, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Jericho, you're like the funniest dude ever. I've been with you for years. I think you're such a crack up. The way you make fun of like Nancy Pelosi, the first time you called her low pan, I laughed so hard. That was fucking hilarious. I couldn't stop crying. I was crying because I don't think most people know who low pan is, which is why.
Oh man.
Hey, thank you, Abe. I appreciate that, man. But it's all I'm doing, man.
Right,
I'm just saying what's true, and not the David Lopez, from Big Trouble in Little China, not the one who's made up like this Mandarin, character. I'm talking about the little dude in the wheelchair with a few hairs on his head and liver spots everywhere. You tell me that's not Nancy Pelosi. Did you see her titties the other day when she was on the beach?
No,
come on,
no. Man. She looks like 2 miles of bad road.
I thought she had a leopard inside of her shirt with all them damn spots.
Let me see.
It was disgusting.
Jericho, can you do your impersonation of Kamala Harris's laugh?
Oh, that's easy, man. Straight from Mars Attacks, 1996. Gaga, 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 gaga. I bet that's how she talks at home. Takes off her human mask. Gaga, gaga.
Oh my gosh, that's fair. Hold on, we have another special guest. It's Nancy Pelosi.
She's sitting down in this picture, but tell me that's not her.
Oops, wrong thing. Here she is. Everyone.
Just put a little American pin lapel. That's her.
She needed that wheelchair from kneeling down, pretending she was in Wakanda.
Yeah. Bro, if you weren't offended, you must be after that. What the hell was that? She had on a kente cloth scarf. Those scarves still had the tag on them, and as soon as they took that dumbass picture, they sent those right back to the store. Ew, get this off of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Ew. And who helped her up after her knees being bent for 8 minutes and 46 seconds? Who had to help that woman stand up straight?
Some black woman, congresswoman.
And then she said, "Ew,
she's like, come on,
get that
Miss
thing
Nancy.
away from me."
Right.
I'll
Look at that. all the dust and sand that was coming out of her joints when she stood up.
Oh my God.
They helped her up. They said, "Come on, Miss Nancy."
My favorite part of this, again, I told you I was watching some BS on the internet with my daughter. It was like the man on the street thing where they go around and ask people, how many planets are in the solar system? And people literally don't know. And my brother Abe, who's a brilliant guy, he's still watching. Hi, Abe. When I was young, you remember jaywalking on Jay Leno's show, where they would go to Universal City Walk in LA and they would ask the man on the street, who's the vice president? What continent are we on? And people couldn't answer. And I would argue with Abe, that's not true. Nobody's that stupid. Then I grew up and I'm like, holy shit, Abe, they're even dumber than that. Yep. So when I see Clown World stuff like this, I ask myself, am I dreaming? Is Nancy Pelosi and all these white saviors, are they really wearing kente cloths? They really thought this was a good idea. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to me. It's really crazy to me. And I remember in college, I learned in my African art history class, those are very significant. They're tribal things, they're family historical things, those patterns. It's not just some frivolous thing, man. Could you see them all? What if it was just a different scenario where it was Mexicans that had trouble or whatever, and they were all wearing sombreros here, taking a knee? Could you imagine that?
Just put a little handlebar mustache on. Yeah. If they only do it because it works. As stupid as it is to us, they only do that because it works. Her numbers probably went up after she did that.
Right.
What does that say about our people?
Thank you.
They're the people that on the jaywalking that didn't know how many planets were in the solar system. You know what I mean?
But they're just dumber now somehow. This dude was asking college age kids stuff like you just got out of high school.
Right.
And you can't tell me how many states are in America? Come on, dog. I haven't been in school in a long time, and I can still tell you basic things like that.
Right.
But they do whatever. It's because of people like that. That's why they don't change their ways, because that's who they're dealing with. They don't have to. They don't even know how many states in the country they live in. We don't have to do nothing different. And black folks, it don't matter. You can do whatever you want, say whatever you want. Beyonce, she'll take the word spaz out of her songs, but not the N word. But that's cool. We'll pull the lever for you 96% of the time, no matter what.
Rock On is unsure how many states are 50. You got it, baby. You got it. Let's see. Danky Frankie, as a Mexican, I'd love it if Nancy Pelosi started wearing a giant sombrero. Yes, Danky, I just said that. We're on the same wavelength. Thank you.
Yep. She would. If she needed to, she would.
Oh, my brother commenting. By the way, we love Superman in this house. How dare you, DC Comics? Anyway, it's not important for them to teach thinking. They teach you to be an activist. Oh, I agree.
Should be left up to your parents whether they want to, activate you in that way. Not the teachers. Teachers, math, reading, science. The basics. The parents will do all the heavy lifting. Thank you very much.
Right. So I can see behind you. You have your flag and all that. You have service. You were in the United States Navy.
Yes, the world's finest Navy.
That's damn right. Listen, I'm a San Diegan, baby. We love our Navy here. My best friend's dad, my father-in-law, just Navy. You know how it is down here in San Diego. 32nd Street, Camp Pendleton, Miramar, all of that. We love the Navy in this town. And thank you for your service, buddy. I am a fanatic of the Navy. I'm a football junkie, as you know. My favorite game of the year is the Army-Navy game. I don't miss it, man. I love watching that game.
Here.
Go effing Navy every time. This last Army-Navy game in November this year, I believe it was, I watched it with my father-in-law, who's 70, and my sort of grandfather, not blood related, Grandpa Rocky. He died about a month ago, but he was 91 years old, and he served on the Midway and the Shangri-La and other boats back starting in the 40s. And it was such a treat to watch the Army-Navy game with these old men. And Navy won in the last second on like an interception or a sack. I don't know if you watched it, but what a treat. R.I.P. Grandpa Rocky. Absolutely. That's a video on my channel, guys. Check it out later. I have a video where I interview Grandpa Rocky and ask him about woke Superman and all this, and he goes off on it. It's pretty fun. So, he's a great guy. He was
the old timers, man. Love they're a wealth of knowledge, man. They live in a different time.
Yeah. We love. John, thank you. Condolences. Yeah, we love. He wasn't my blood, but I've known him for like 25 years. Salt of the earth guy, Navy vet. He was such an interesting dude from Brooklyn back in the 30s. He was in street gangs like West Side Story when he was a teenager. Just amazing stories he would tell me. And he was a really cool dude, and he really liked me a lot. So it was really fun. So so Navy, do you want to? How does your Navy training and all that stuff and what they teach you about being a man and discipline, how does that relate to what you do in YouTube and your cultural criticism?
It gave me great experiences. It took me around the world. It made me travel, which I think is very important. People need to see how it's done around the world. We have a lot of similarities. People wake up early. We'd sit there and we'd watch the city wake up. The school buses and people going to work and all that. A lot of things we do are the same, but a lot of things that we do are different. Our rules and our laws and the things that we have in this country, the freedom that we have in this country is amazing. And you don't have to go far. You go down to Mexico, South America, if you don't want to go overseas or something, but people need to travel and see how good we have it here. There are places that are so poor that there's nobody to beg for money from. We got homeless here with signs. I've been in a country so poor, there's no need to make a sign because there's nobody to give you money.
Wow.
You can believe whatever religion you want here, and there are a set of laws and systems in place to protect that. In other countries I've been to, you either go with their religion or you're not going to be here, period.
Right.
So the things we take for granted, these feminists, they ain't real feminists because there ain't work to be done, but these wannabe feminists here, these boogeymen and this misogyny and this patriarchy that they fall asleep to every night, they can find it. It exists on Earth, but it's not here. I've been to countries where the women, you got to walk 6 steps behind your men, put your head down and don't talk. You don't drive. You don't go out in public without a man. All these things that if you told that to an American woman, she'd laugh at you. But and that's right now. That's going on right now. But we have no natural predators here. So, idle hands and all that stuff. They're gonna look for something stupid to complain about. Women's March. You've seen the videos. They go out there at the Women's March in the middle of a group of women and say, "Why are you here?" Crickets. I don't know. I came with her.
Right.
So you have nothing to complain about. This country is wonderful because people go in the military. They go to those countries and make sure that the boogeymen don't come here.
Right.
So people need to be appreciative of what they have because, like Grandpa Rocky you're talking about, he comes from a time when that was different. You know what I mean? You want to see some real racism? You want to see some real struggle? Give me America during the Depression.
Right.
So
my grandfather, born in 1918, a little bit older than Grandpa Rocky. This is my blood grandfather, my mom's side. World War II veteran, fought in the Pacific and all that. And he had success after World War II opening a Mexican restaurant and tortilla shop in Colorado. And he wouldn't eat rice. He wouldn't eat oatmeal because that's all he ate as a child. So as an adult, he couldn't stomach it. He couldn't get him to eat a spoon of it. And, and he wouldn't tell me much about the war. And I've read stuff, a lot of books, documentaries about the Pacific, and it seems like hell on earth. I'm sure you being in the Navy, they probably teach you some naval history. And what they did there in the Pacific is just hell on earth, just brutal. Death, humidity, disease. And the Japanese were fierce warriors, formidable opponents. So, he wouldn't talk about it, man. So I appreciate, like you, what a great country. People like my grandfather, my dad emigrating here from a socialist regime in Libya so we could make comic books for a living in air conditioning. You're going to complain like some kind of retarded person? Please. No, we won't have it.
I'm glad you mentioned the Japanese because in World War II, Hitler and the Germans get a lot of the press for being horrible and everything. The Japanese, I've heard stories from, also just studying it and learning about it, but hearing from my grandpa, the horrible things they would show the American soldiers that they did before they went over there. Not only to get you pumped up for what you're about to do, but to let you know the evil that's over there. The Japanese, man, they were cold-blooded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You read up on it. There's a great podcast. You can get it for free everywhere. Hardcore History. He does these amazing 3 or 4, 5-hour shows about 3-4 times a year. Very sparsely he does them, but he researches dozens of books for his topic, and he'll just talk about it in detail. But he was on radio in LA for years, and he's such a good narrator, and he tells it like a guy telling a cool story. It's Dan Carlin, Hardcore History. And between like 2018 and just like about a year ago, he did a series called Supernova in the East. And it's all about the Pacific War. And it's insane and brutal. And I loved every second of it. Dan Carlin, check him out, Hardcore History. Show something real quick just for the visual aid. This is the thumbnail for the Grandpa Rocky video. Damn it. Sorry, wrong one. Not that one. This one right here. So that's my grandfather in the middle. That's my father-in-law on the right, Navy, Army, and then Grandpa Rocky, handsome devil on the left there.
Right,
and then it was a video called DC Comics is a Woke Disgrace, and I interviewed him. And then I'm proud of this man. So that's Grandpa Rocky on the left. Big dude, because I'm 6'4". It's about 6'2", big dude. And then my father-in-law, Wiley, on the right there. You like
He got that real Navy tattoo on the forearm. That's if you see an old man with a tattoo on his forearm like that, don't play around. That dude's for real.
Yeah. No, he was his nickname was Rocky because he was nicknamed Rocky Marciano in New York, like the boxer. Yeah. But he said he got that nickname because he would always get his ass kicked as a kid. So very, very proud to know this man. Rest in peace, Grandpa Rocky. Fantastic man. So I have a special, special love for Navy veterans. So, David, I'm talking a lot. You got anything? You're being a cool cat.
What's your opinion on some current events on this Omicron thing?
I mean, it was Omicron, and I heard something about a BA.5 now. I mean, monkeypox. It's whatever they want it to be. Yeah. I think. I don't think anything is as bad as they say it is. If you look at who's telling the story, it tells you everything you need to know. And we've all seen the footage of if you get the vaccine, you will not get COVID. And then those same people get it. And then they get vaccinated and then they get double and triple poked, but they still get it. So if I take the chance that I could possibly still get it, without getting this experimental substance in my body, I think I'm going to go that way. But it's just however they need it to be. If Omicron is not getting what they need, you will see that go away, and something else will come to the forefront to take our attention, because all of a sudden we're not on lockdown anymore. It's just gone now. What happened? What changed from now and when the lockdown was happening? Did they get more doses of it? Did more people take it? I don't know, but I think it's just about the narrative they want to push. If they want,
why are so many popping up?
You mean cases?
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I mean just different variants all of a sudden from, okay, here's COVID, but now there's, monkeypox, and then, all the different variants all of a sudden in this span of time. And I'm like, why are all these popping up now instead of all the time prior to, this administration? This is nuts.
I think it's because we use carbon fuels for our cars.
It's because
the mayor here. Now, San Diego is based. You know that, Jericho. San Diego is a little red oasis, as is Orange County. And our mayor did declare a monkeypox state of emergency for the city.
Banana in the tailpipe. You're not going to fall for it.
You're not supposed to fall for it, guys. You're not supposed to. But see, what they did to us when COVID hit, they locked everybody down. So when this hits, why don't you lock this one group down? Because in America, 99%, and it's not like everybody's ever 99%. No, for real, 99% of the cases in this country come from one particular group of people. And it's painfully obvious. So why don't you focus on them and let the rest of us get along with our business? But to speak to your point, why these things are happening, boom, 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 all these variants and everything else, I think it's like spinning a basketball. Eventually that ball is going to lose momentum and fall. You got to keep it spinning. What's next? Because they know they're headed to the slaughterhouse come November,
right?
Because it is just a mess. And now I think this is also a point of why the pendulum swinging the other ways, because they went so hard for all that woke shit. They took such a big bite out of that now it's swinging the other way, and it's too late. You went too crazy with the lockdowns. You went too crazy with drag queens and kids and all that crazy kind of shit that now you can't repair that. You thought it was going to last longer, but the midterms are coming. You guys are in trouble. And thanks to the butterscotch pudding eater at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, he did not help.
I will say, to please the algorithm lords, I'm not a doctor. None of us are. Talk to your doctor if you want real medical information. I am an expert entertainer and comic artist, so I will give my opinions on woke bullshit that Hollywood is doing, and I am an expert on that, so you will listen to me about that. But no, not a doctor. There you go, YouTube. You happy? So
you happy now? But it's crazy, man. It's whatever they want it to be. If they want it to be quiet, if they want all that stuff to go away, it will, and they want us to focus on race or some unarmed whoever, getting shot, then that's what they're going to do. Whatever, they're desperate. They're like a trapped animal. They will gnaw their paw off to get free, and they will do whatever they have to keep power. They owe too many people. Why is Nancy Pelosi in her 80s? Why is Maxine Waters in her 80s and you're in politics? Dianne Feinstein just put her paperwork in to run for Senate, and she's 91 years old. Why are you doing that? Shouldn't you be enjoying your great grandkids in front of a pond somewhere? Why are you still in the trenches? Because you owe, and so you can't go.
There you go.
Absolutely, man. I think they're all compromised, man. I remember hearing something once, I don't know where, they're like the Playboy Mansion. They had hidden cameras in it for decades. So they could catch these athletes and movie star guys doing things that they wouldn't want the public to see. And then you wonder why these Hollywood guys are always a mouthpiece. So whenever I think of like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and these guys who can't shut up about Trump and they're the wokiest of the woke, I'm like, what do they have on these guys? Because it must be a humdinger what they got on these guys. Allegedly. I'm not a lawyer either, YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure there were like some weird like goat masks and stuff they were wearing in that room. Like it got weird. They were drinking blood and all kinds of weird stuff. But I remember when during COVID, when Colbert did that episode where people were dressed like needles and they were dancing, trying to convince people to, that is what?
Yeah.
They're resurrecting Juvenile to vax that ass up and DMC from Run DMC, because you know if you want black people to do it, just put it to a cool beat.
That's right.
All you got to do.
That's right, mama. Hey, I could say it. I got an N-word pass and everything. I'm African American, and I'll argue to both of you. I'm more African American than both of you because my dad. I'm a first generation immigrant from the shores of Tripoli. So,
True.
Who's the real African guy?
There you go.
And in fact, if either of you say the N-word to me, I'm telling on both of you. You know?
You're my ninja, though.
There you go. My ninja.
But you're conservative. We can call you whatever we want.
That's right.
You
know, as three damn, I wish we had all remembered to bring our kente cloths. As three strong African brothers here, I want to ask you, David, something.
Right on.
Where in the hell did you guys get your driver's license? Because I can't find the DMV. You know, I've been looking all over. I'm tired of riding my bike all over town. Jericho, can you help me? Because, you know, African Americans, Mexicans, and I'm both. I'm both. How can I find the DMV? I'm probably driving right past it. I'm not driving. I mean, I'm probably on my
that's
bike.
right. You're not driving.
Yeah. I'm on my bike going right past it. How did you get an ID, dude?
Gabe, let's look at the macro point here. Let's zoom out. How did you get on the internet? Because black people, we can't use the internet.
That's
so
right.
Whatever you did, write it down and text it to me. So
wait a minute. We're on the waternet? Where are we?
The net, the worldwide who?
Wait, you're not in the room. You guys aren't in the room here with me. I thought you guys were just like little tiny guys in my room.
No, knock on the wall. I won't hear you. We are not in the same house. But not only that, let's take a bigger drink out of this mug of stupid shit. The roads are racist. The roads in Black and Puerto Rican neighborhoods do not lead to opportunity. When you start getting close to white neighborhoods, the roads end. You can't, there's no opportunity. I can go to the edge of the road and look at all that opportunity. But the roads, the bridges are lower in Black and Puerto Rican neighborhoods, so the buses can't take you there. That's what Pete Buttigieg said, the leader of the transportation department. Isn't that funny that a gay dude has the word "but" in his last name?
Again, when I see this stuff, I'm like, am I dreaming? Is this really happening?
Right.
Because it's almost too perfect. It's like the universe is winking at you, you know?
But don't they realize that's racism?
Buttigieg is winking at you.
No. David, how dare you?
Sir. That was uncalled for.
He doesn't say much, but when he says it, it hits.
It's powerful. But that's what he said. He said the road construction is racist.
That's right. That is true. All kinds of things are racist. In fact, I can't name anything that isn't racist. You know what I mean?
There is nothing that's not racist.
That's how it is.
It's all dipped in racism.
You're being oppressed right now in 8 ways. You don't even know it.
I'm taller than this, but the oppression. It's like a low ceiling.
Dude, same. I tell everyone I'm 6'4". I'm supposed to be 7 feet tall.
That's right. But the oppression is keeping you down. It gives you bad posture. But don't they realize that making excuses for every single thing is racist? Telling somebody it's not your fault, making excuses. They do that for children. You do that for kids, not for adults.
Right,
if my son pees the bed, hey buddy, hey, help me change your linen. Hey, it's an accident. It's all right. Go back to bed. If I do it, that's a problem because I'm supposed to know better. But if people are like, no, it's not your fault. It's the water. The water is racist because you're black. You got to drink more water and you go to bed. They make all these stupid excuses for people. And that is damaging. That is dangerous. That's sending these boys out there thinking, I can do whatever I want. I don't got to worry about the cops because if anything's done, somebody's going to make an excuse for me. And then boom, you run up on the cops acting stupid, and that's what happens. Or, you're raised around all these women, so you think you can act like them. You think you can throw your drink in somebody's face and not get the shit knocked out of you because it doesn't happen to them. So let me go over here and act stupid with these police. My mama, she ain't going to get arrested. Wrong. You're a boy. You think like a girl, but you're a boy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's so condescending to tell us that we don't know how to find the DMV. Just tell us The white man will oppress you and you can't succeed. And it was a key reason. It was probably the main reason, the impetus for me to leave DC Comics, because they wanted me to make this goofy ass Superman, son of Kal-El. He's no longer an American citizen. They did that years ago, but now he doesn't use truth, justice, and American way because, you know, America sucks or whatever. And all this stuff. And I basically, in my heart, I'm like, I'm not going to be making books with my God-given talent. I'm an amazing artist. I'm one of the best. You don't get to Superman if you're not elite. My friend David here, elite. This is who we are. We're Billy Badass over here. I'm not using that skill to tell white people they're trash, racist, to tell black people, gay people, women, they can't succeed. Why would I use my gift to ruin people's lives, make white people feel bad, ruin their society, and tell black people, hey, you might as well not try because Whitey's got you dead to rights. How dare you? People are going to live once, and you're going to hold them back and tell them they can't win. That's like literal evil. And I'm using literal in the real way, not the California girl way, but it's literally evil to tell people that, you know? So disgusting to me. Couldn't be happier to be making independent, awesome, exciting stuff. But I wanted to show you this, Jericho, and get your take because I love this. DC Comics, I made this meme, which I'm very proud of. Yesterday it was announced after $70 to $100 million is the rumor, and the movie was basically done being filmed. Woke Batgirl, because everyone knows Barbara Gordon is a white woman with red hair. I think this woman appears to be at least partially black. I can't tell. This movie was test screening to audiences, and DC Comics said it's not coming out. 70 million, 100 million. We would rather take the tax write-off as an expense than to put this thing out. So when you want to get woke and you don't want to follow the rules of storytelling, where a story has verisimilitude and it makes sense within the confines of art, then you make stuff like this and it doesn't work. So again, this is going back to say the pendulum is swinging back. But I mean, I don't want to laugh at people, but I had to laugh about this. And I do like that it's debuting on CNN Plus very soon. That's the chef's gift that I put on here.
Too soon.
But tell me what you think. You know, since this is a comic book channel, and politics is downstream from culture. When they make woke trash, then it's going to convince kids after a few years of living in it. It's going to convince them to vote this way, that this is okay, this nonsense. What do you think is the importance of pop culture and the woke attack on it, and me and Dave and guys like us fighting back? What do you think of all that?
It's very important. It's imperative. It's crucial because everybody can't sit idly by and let this shit happen. We can't all sit on our hands and be quiet as a dead church mouse. Right. But this is tokenism. This ain't some kind of win. What? Because they switched her race and you're just insulting the people who are fans of what it was originally. And I'm glad this happened. I wish it was an indication of things to come. I wish this was a turning of the tide, but they're probably going to continue with more woke bullshit. But this is great because this, just by this picture, this is going to be a steaming pile of garbage. This is going to be another Catwoman. That's what this is going to be. This is terrible. Now, why don't you create a whole new character? Then you can make her as black as you want. Right. When taking an established character and making them black, that's tokenism. That's more of, here you go. Now run along. That's them kicking you with the instep of their foot in your ass. Get out of here.
But hold on. You're right, Jericho. But here's the question: do you think she found the DMV to get her ID?
Yeah. She couldn't. It's him. You could put her in front of the DMV, and it's just like a video game where you hit the thing and you can't go any further. She couldn't go in. But I'll tell you what though. No BS. My mom worked for the DMV for 20 years. So that's not true.
Wow.
I'm here to debunk that.
Now, why doesn't she hook the rest of us up with the location? It's your mama, Jericho. I'll be very careful.
She was sworn to secrecy. She was sworn to secrecy, and she had to cut her palm and give drops of blood. Swear to never tell.
It was a Cosa Nostra kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
it was it.
It was she was talking to her manager. His name was Bradley Pitt. And he said the first rule of the DMV is we don't talk about the DMV.
Yeah. So you'd see her walk around the corner and like you'd look around the corner right after and she would disappear. There was like a secret hatch. She got in there.
So that's how you got your license. She brought
But I couldn't tell you. I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Damn it.
Wow, that's amazing. See, look at this. Paragon Rex might be a ginger, and they want their redheaded Batwoman back. By the way, I put text on this. I wrote that on there, and I covered up her chest, but her chest is flat. And I don't know if this woman is flat or not. And I wouldn't make fun of a woman's body if she was flat chested, but I wouldn't be shocked if they had her like in athletic bras and pushing it down, because I worked for DC Comics for 15 years. And at the end, the last 4 or 5 years of Woke, they would give me notes from editorial on drawings where the boobs were normal or big. If they were normal or big, they'd like, no, you got to tone that down. And it was consistent. So I got to the point where, just as an inside joke to myself, I did a lot of color work for them, Jericho. So I would be coloring someone else's drawings. And if they drew some nice boobs, I would render them as big and 3D as possible in the color. Just so I would get the email from the editor the next day. It's really nice work, but could you please tone down the 3D of the boobies? And I would tone it down because they're paying the money. But I just did it to make myself laugh because I knew that they were woke weirdos. So I tried, guys. I tried.
That's another thing. That's what comic book readers want to see. That's how it's been. Remember the movie, which was another horrible one, but where Alicia Silverstone, she had her Batgirl suit, and in that Batgirl suit were some nice titties. Now, I don't care what size they are, bring them on. But I'm saying the template for this is a woman with a large bust. So why not continue that? Because mostly boys read comic books, but if you're trying to make these boys a bunch of weird little hypochondriac, it's okay if you touch me kind of kids, a whole generation of them, then yeah, you're going to get rid of those womanly things that appeal to them, because they're not supposed to appeal to that. You're just supposed to be this beige blob of non-binary. We're all just this writhing pile of non-distinct bodies. Of course they're going to get rid of stuff like that. That's what's wrong with that. She has nipples. I don't see anything wrong with that.
It was cold in the Batcave that day.
It must have been cold because that's hard plastic.
Yeah. Mr. Freeze was in town.
She got some bat nipples under there.
Right. Could you imagine if one of these stupid companies made this Batgirl outfit today? The just the fits and the misogyny and the vapors that people would be catching on Twitter.
Patriarchy, you're sexualizing her. I bet you when she cashed that check, she wouldn't think about no sexualizing.
Right.
When 6 digits hit the account, she didn't think that way.
Right. Yeah.
That's where the bat serum is when someone gets struck by poison ivy.
You gotta take a sip. You gotta get some of this bat breastfeeding. Bat feeding. Get it? It's bat milk.
Batgirl. Help! I'm dying.
He's like, I'm not doing this again. It's the third time he got bit today. I'm not doing this again.
David will be playing like his knee hurts, his back hurts, his elbow hurts.
Batgirl, Alfred bit me. Come here, save me.
He's not even here, David.
Exactly.
Well, still preventative medicine.
This will always be my Batgirl. I don't think I saw this movie. Is this the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, I knew not to see that movie. I was only 17 and I knew better than to go watch that.
George Clooney, it's like James Bond. There's different Batmans, and George Clooney was not a good Batman.
Hey, when I worked at Warner Brothers, I worked in consumer products. The studio was right next to us, so we would always go over to the studio lot to go have lunch, and that's when Clooney was filming ER and Batman at the same time, but they built a little basketball court in the back of the commissary area, and so after lunch I would go play a round of basketball before I go back to work, and me and George Clooney used to play pickup games and stuff back there and stuff. So he was a really good basketball player. Crappy Batman, but a good basketball player.
Like, George, you can just bring some of this to the set, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was not my favorite. I think Michael Keaton, because that was the first one I saw as a little kid. I think he's the best Batman to me.
Yeah,
very nice guy. Sad he became really extremely woke.
Yep. Remember a time that we didn't know what celebrities thought?
Exactly.
You just entertained and went back to your villa or whatever. Mm-hmm. But before they started, because it sucks. People like Samuel L. Jackson. I'm a huge fan, or was a huge fan of Samuel L. Jackson until he wrote the judge to not give Juicy Smollett some prison time. What?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? You still acting like you believe this charade? So when you hear stuff like that and, you know, other celebrities opening their mouth, you're like, damn, man, now I got to skip past your movie. I can't watch that crap.
I wrote him off after he was calling Clarence Thomas his character from Django. I was just like, you know what? Nah.
Come on, dog.
Can't do that to our people.
You should be highlighting somebody like a successful black man who doesn't believe that he's a victim and he rose to the heights of the Supreme Court, and that's who you're beating down. But you'll go to little so-and-so garbage, you know, syrup sipping rapper's party. That's terrible.
Exactly.
Yeah, you would think with what they say, the leftists, that Clarence Thomas, they would revere him despite his politics. He's what they claim to want and dream of. And no, they don't want you black guys to succeed. They want you to fall in line and behave like a trained dog. That's what they want out of me too, as a Mexican, as a Libyan. They want to tell me they're on my side against the white man, so I will be their little purse puppy. So I will obey their commands. And that's why you see the mask slip and the demon come out. When Eric July makes all that money, they start throwing the N-word around like crazy and talking all this mess to me about all this stuff. It's insane, man. You see the mask slip off fast, you know, and we're not people to them. You know, they say, oh, America's a racist country. Not at all. It's so not racist, and white people aren't racist, but there is a contingent that are. This white, liberal, and they're not racist so much as they're better than everyone. Race, class, religion, politics, foreigners, people who live here, they're like, you may kiss my ring. They're better than everyone in their own mind. And it's disgusting. There's not many of them, but gee, are they loud.
You see how they're taking over Mexico now?
I heard that. I heard they're moving down there for like cheaper houses and stuff like that. And the Mexicans are like, can you guys get out of here, please?
Well, you know what? That's perfect that they moved down to Mexico, because you want to see some racism? Turn on a Mexican TV show.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Turn that on. Look at their black characters. You don't want to hear that crap. Don't tell me. There's always going to be racist people, of course.
Right.
But this is nowhere near a racist country. Not even close.
Right. John F76 with a great point. There's a reason why old Hollywood studios wouldn't let their talent talk, only their agents.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Jericho. Legarito 9, I still can't get over that story you told us, Gabe, when that lady told you after Trump got elected. The day after Trump won Jericho, I was still at DC Comics, incognito, in the conservative closet, because you may not say anything, but they're so racist, these liberals, they said, Mexican Libyan, of course he hates America and hates Trump. He's one of us. Kept my mouth shut, made a lot of money working there. Finally, they got too woke. I got the hell out. You know the story. But the day after Trump won, and a top editor emailed me and said, don't worry, Gabe, people like me will protect you from Trump and his crazy racist minions. I'm just like, all right, you know, I voted for him. I didn't say nothing because I wanted to keep my job. But in my head, it's like, I voted for the guy. What are you talking about? So but that's the condescension. After that, she sent me a map to the DMV. She emailed me that too.
Fine. She goes, you didn't get this from me. All right. Yeah. Don't tell me you got this.
It's like an Eddie Murphy skit. SNL.
You look at it, you memorize it, and you burn it. You know what? I got a day after Trump got elected story too, because I myself, if California is the belly of the beast, this is the belly of the belly of the beast.
Because you're what? You're Bay Area or what?
I worked in Monterey, so that's Salinas. You know, where basically everything green in your refrigerator and your crisper came from Salinas.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's this woman who shopped at my store. I worked at a Trader Joe's for 13 years. So I did a case study behind enemy lines in a liberal hellhole. There's a couple of universities, the Subaru station wagon, salt and pepper ponytail Hawaiian shirt professor. Those are the people I saw all the time. The real racists. Right. So this woman, let me give you a little background on her to put a little extra sting in this story. So one year, Martin Luther King Day, I'm working, right? Because that's what you do at work. I feel his hand on my shoulder. I look over, it's her. She's, drives a Volvo Peace, man, Trump's Hitler, all that stuff, right? I look over at her and she goes, oh, and she touches her heart like this because this is how heavy this was weighing on her. She goes, oh, Happy Martin Luther King Day. Like she just had to get that weight off of her. I have to let him know that I care. All right. So day after Trump election, she comes in. Her name is Marsha. I said, "What's up, Marsha?" So I knew she was mad. "What's up, Marsha? How you doing?" She goes, "Oh, my voice. I don't have a voice." I said, "Oh man, would you get sick?" She's like, "No, I was yelling at the TV after Trump won."
That's totally sane behavior, dude. Totally sane behavior.
Like, huh? These people, man, I could write a book on the crazy shit I heard these people say, man. It is unreal. But these celebrities and these Wokians, as I like to call them, they will sit here and talk about the misogyny and the racism and all the phobias they want to assign to us. Homophobia, transphobia. Nobody has an irrational phobia of those people. But anyway, they'll talk all that shit, but then come summertime, they're dipping their toes in the sand of Dubai. What do they do in Dubai to the people you claim to care about over here?
Right.
So they're not for real. You're going to the homeland of these killers. If they saw your Twitter page, they would toss you off of a building.
That's right.
But you're going to tell me it's so horrible here, but go vacation over there where it's bad for real.
Yeah. I saw online a pride parade and they had a bunch of Ukrainian flags in it. I'm like, gay marriage ain't legal in Ukraine, guys. So, you know,
so
small detail.
Awkward. Yeah.
Right.
These people are morons, man.
No, my dad is from there. My dad's from Libya, and it's a socialist dictatorship under Gaddafi. Murdered my grandfather, murdered my dad's friends, and that ain't coming here. And David and I, we're not going to help these companies make art that will influence the future to vote that way. You know what I mean? With this cancel culture? Because I tell everyone, how do you think it starts? Do you think they build a gulag on the first day? And just no, they get you warmed up into it like the frog in the pot. And it starts with making this woke garbage. That's how it starts. That's how they did the October Revolution. Read your history books, people. In Russia in 1917, 1918, it's the same thing. They erase history. They infiltrate the universities. They take over the art. They degenerate and destroy the family. It's the same thing, the same playbook. Did it in China, did it in Cambodia, did it all over. These are monsters, these people. So
and they don't talk about the body count. That's what they don't tell you about socialism and communism. You know, they talk about just the free social programs and everybody gets this and taxes, tax the rich. They don't tell you about the body count because every time around the world they try communism, tens of millions of people die because they have to crush the resistance. Then they see Bernie Sanders said that communism just hasn't been done right yet. An American elected official didn't denounce it. He just says it hasn't been done right yet.
Right.
And in communism, of course, they don't have a problem with it because they stay in power. But tens of millions of us would die. And just think if America at large rejected this, they would have to scrap it. They couldn't push it. It only happens when you have millions of dummies inside of your own borders who don't feel the water getting hotter. We're trying to pull them out of the pot, and they're calling us sellouts for trying to save their life. So I think at some point, you just got to cut bait. I'm looking out for mine. I'm looking out for like-minded people. I'm looking out for my family. If you want to march over there and go in the shower and they end up turning gas on you, that's up to you. And you know what? Stick a microphone in the face of anybody like your father who comes from that. And I guarantee you they will not help to bring it here. They will tell you are fools. This is why I came here. Don't bring the nightmare here that I ran from. I worked with two Bulgarian women, and they laugh at America trying to drag that stuff over here. They're like, what the hell are you doing? You want to be in a bread line? You don't like Popeye's chicken on every corner? You want some stale bread and some gruel? That's what you want?
Right.
These people came here to escape that nonsense. And you can't, the only way to get to communism is through capitalism. You have to amass enough of a fortune to entertain crap like this.
Yeah.
You got to be rich. All these communist countries, they were rich, conservative, capitalist countries before they did that nonsense.
Right.
And I'm not saying something needs to happen here, but we need to be snapped out of it. We need to be reset, and we need to focus on what's important here and not trying to make our 6-year-old kids watch some dude in a dress shake his sack in front of them.
Oh, well, that brings us to a great point here.
Segue, right? Nice segue.
Speaking of that, so I have a theory that I'm fairly certain is correct. The way we lost our culture is through culture, through pop culture, entertainment. I'm a Christian. Jesus spoke in parables to teach sometimes. Parables are not true. They're not lies, but they are fiction. And I've studied writing a lot. I'm a writer. And part of the psychology, the science of writing is we understand things best through stories. If I tell you, Jericho, that's bad, whatever, you hear it and kind of whatever. But if I tell you a story about why something is bad and the effects that it had on people, how it hurt them, how it made this other evil guy happy, you can really internalize it, compare it to your own life, and really feel it in your conscious and your subconscious. And that's what movies, music, books, all of it does that. Your brain, that amygdala, that animal part, it can't tell the difference between fiction and reality. That's why you jump in a scary movie. It's not real. It's a TV screen. But your subconscious doesn't know the difference. So when I teach you the woke is right and fathers aren't good, they're all stupid like Homer Simpson. I teach you that for 30 or 40 years. You don't know, but you're internalizing it. You are internalizing it and you're starting to believe all of it. So we lost our culture. Conservative, patriotic, religious people did something very stupid that we're guilty of as a group. Not individually, some of us not. As a group, when we said, that's devil music, those are dirty shows and dirty movies, I reject art. When we did that as a people, we screwed up. We should have fought back harder. Let them make their art because freedom of speech, but we didn't match them beat for beat with people training to be artists, to be writers, to be illustrators. We have some, but we're outnumbered. And if you look at, or they always say, oh, well, art is for liberal people. No, it isn't. Look at the origins of Western art, cathedrals, Renaissance religious paintings. You look at any culture, Egypt, Native Americans, Arabic, carving in the old carving in the stones, Chinese, all the old art from thousands, hundreds of years ago, it celebrates and reinforces its culture. Only now do we have postmodernism where you have an American in this century saying America sucks instead of praising the heritage and the shoulders of the giants that he stands on. So saying all that, my point is we lost our culture through giving up on art. This is how we win it back. We make inspiring stories like what David and I are making here. We make our own shows, our own movies. Jericho does his own entertainment on YouTube. We make our own stuff that teaches these things as entertainment, teaches them as lessons we can internalize, and that's how we turn the tide. Because you can't do it in one day. You can't do it in 1 month. You can't even do it in 1 year. And they haven't been able to do it in 1 month, right? They've been at this since the 50s, really, but way before. Postmodernism is about 100 years old, but it bloomed in the 50s and the 60s. So we've got our work to do, and we've got to stay consistent for years. That's my theory on how we win this back is culturally. We show people good, heroic stories about bravery, love, brotherhood, honesty, resolve, using violence for good as a hero does. All these great morals that we used to just turn on the TV and see. John Wayne, Charles Bronson, the old days of tough guys when it mattered because as a man, you got to be tough. But this is how we win it back. So either you get the art skills like us, the entertaining skills like us, and if you don't have them, then you got to support us. You got to subscribe to Jericho. You got to subscribe to this. You got to buy our comics, all that stuff, because this is the cultural fight, and we can win it. We can't. I totally believe that. What do you think? Off the soapbox, what do you think?
Agreed. We have to. That makes sense that the way it was taken from us is the way that we have to get it back. Because stuff like this, the younger generations are going to see this. And like you said, subliminally, they're going to ingest it. And I think things really got weird. Things got perverted like in the 90s when you started having the Will and Grace and the Ellen DeGeneres show and all this stuff. It was just, death by 1,000 cuts. Right. They're just every other person, your neighbor and all this kind of stuff. And so I think they turned it up in the 90s. But like the heroes you're talking about, the old school action heroes, those are good dudes. Violence was used for good. I remember at the end of a Steven Seagal movie, it was Out for Justice. And in the beginning of the movie, you see this guy throw a plastic bag with a puppy in it out the window. And he sees the guy's bumper sticker and he's all, I'll see you again, to himself. So he takes the puppy and he takes it to the store and buys some food. And, they show the puppy throughout the movie and stuff so you don't forget about it. And then at the end, he's out with his wife and his kid, and he sees that station wagon with the bumper sticker on it. Right. So that's telling you, hey, kids, be a good person. Not only fight the bad guy, but stick up for the people and the things that can't stick up for themselves. Right. That puppy couldn't do anything about it, but I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna say, hey, and in the worst New York Italian accent I've ever heard, but he tells him, hey, yo, hey, were you the guy and all that stuff? And the guy's like, yeah, what up? It blow me or whatever. And he kicks this dude, and the guy tries to swing on him. He ends up kicking him in his balls. Right. But that's telling you, stick up for the little guy too. That's telling you to be a good person. Hulk Hogan, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, listen to your parents. When's the last time you heard somebody famous say those 3 things? And then you ain't got to get all crazy Bible thumper with it, but there are some things we got to agree on. We need a decent society. Family is important. Family is crucial. We all know ladies who got daddy issues, all right? That stuff, there's a reason it takes 2 to make them, because it takes 2 to raise them.
Oh, say it again. Say that again.
And there's a reason it takes 2 to make them, because it takes 2 to raise them. You don't want too much dad. You don't want too much mom. I find myself trying to check that with my kids. Sometimes I'm a little too gruff with them. Sometimes, I have a kind, gentle side to me, but sometimes my wife will be like, dang, babe, hey, be nice. Or my kid will be facing me and she'll be standing behind my kid. Be nice, or whatever, because they're going to come to me with something that's probably going to upset me, but that's probably not the best way to handle it. So you need that balance. Sometimes you need to be told, hey, you'll be all right, get up. And sometimes you need, oh, come here, baby. Mom will take care of it. Yeah. That is important. You got to have those 2 things. But I used to listen to a guy named Michael Savage, and he would always say, Michael Savage. He's a little crazy, but I love him. Borders, language, culture. That's what they're going to go after. They're going to destroy our borders. They're going to change our language. But what do you mean? That doesn't mean that anymore. It's just love. What are you against 2 people in love? Love knows no age. And then the culture. You have to attack those 3 things, and you'll bring down any giant if you execute those plans. And that's what's happening. They've already blown our borders wide open. Fentanyl's the #1 killer of people 18 to 45. Yes. Language, you know what they've done to that? All the inclusive, equity, all that shit. And now the culture. They have to change the culture. They have to make all these things that they're pushing okay. They can't. I think their ultimate goal is unfettered access to our children, because that's the ultimate taboo. If you're doing orgies every other week, regular sex, missionary ain't gonna do it. But you need that ultimate taboo, that ultimate freakiness. And that is our kids. So in order to make that okay, they have to change our culture, because we're not a culture. We don't do child brides. We don't do that. That's not our culture. Yeah, no, in our Western culture here in America, that's the line. You know what I mean? Kids, that's off limits.
Kids are the line.
The thuggiest of the thug, the biggest criminal, and the tear tattoos. What do the mobsters always say? I don't kill women and I don't kill kids. Right. Kids, that's it. But they're blurring that line. That kid, of course, that kid at 3 years old, they can decide their sexuality. They can give consent as young as 4. So if your kid can give consent, and it's love. What if that guy loves that kid? Don't you love kids? It's just love. So when you change the language, I guess it is love. Yeah, little Susie, you can go hang out with that 38-year-old man.
Hold on. I love your point, but this is one of the greatest screen names I've ever seen in my life. Donkey Honky, the Mayo Monkey. I'm going to pronounce it Monkey so it all goes together. Donkey Honky, the Mayo Monkey. I tell my wife every day that we are a team and I need her to balance me. You're a good man. Keep that in balance. Yeah, I got a great wife. I got a gem. One of the best women I've ever known in my life. She ain't got that Western woman nonsense that she's a goddess going on. We clearly have our roles defined as the masculine and the feminine. And we live in harmony, and we are as happy as a couple can be. And, she was talking to some women once. I won't give any details because if they ever hear this. And they were talking about being young and single and dating forever. And she and I got married very young. She was 20, I was 18. Because we're Mexican. That's how we do it. You got to have the kids young. But, and they told her, don't you feel like you missed out? And then she asked them, missed out on what? And she said, the look on their faces of all the heartbreak, mediocre sex, empty promises for, 15, 20 years. So they got married at 40 almost. The look on their faces was like, oh, shit. And, she didn't rub it in or nothing, but she said you could.
She didn't have to.
Yeah, it was, their face said it all,
That's That's the culture. The hot girl summer. That's the new life. Yeah, man, kids are gross.
Yeah, you're gonna have sex with the sandwich artist on his futon with his 4 fucking roommates.
Yeah, get a bunch of
Live
Put
in
a
the
bunch
dream,
of dog
right?
hair all over your clothes. That's
Right.
great. Do the walk of shame once a week. Try to keep your
Right.
knees together so you don't make
Right.
a mess.
Yeah, you're gonna have to spot him a little for his orange chicken at Panda Express. You know,
That's supposed to be what's cool now. The commercial.
Oh.
I saw a commercial the other. We went to watch Maverick, the new Top Gun movie, which is good.
so good, so good.
We void of woke nonsense. You want to see a big budget action movie void of nonsense? Watch Maverick. But one of the commercials before the movie was this family, and this woman was on the phone with her sister, and they're sitting in the living room, and it pans out, and of course they got 5 kids. It's a nightmare. There's bubbles coming out of the dishwasher. The kids are painting the TV and messing up mom's hair, and dad, he's some neutered eunuch standing there not doing nothing, and the kids are just running amok. And you split screen to her sister who's single. She has all the white furniture. Everything's nice and quiet. She's sitting there drinking some wine. Like, oh, man, you guys had kids. You're dumb. I can just be here single and drink my wine, and that's the perfect life. It's not, because it's fun now. You think it's cool now because you can just pick up and go and everything, but you just wait till that biological clock starts ticking real loud in your ear and you can't hear nothing else. Then it's not so cool anymore. But family? Nah, man, that's dumb. That's old school. Now, it's all about you. It's all about you, girl. Go chase that career. Don't get married. Don't have children. Don't procreate. It'll be fine.
Beyond that, like, I was born in 69. So I think I came up in the best time of, like, entertainment. You know what I mean? So all through the 70s and 80s and all that, they used to do gum commercials. Remember Big Red commercials and stuff, and Wrigley's. You don't see gum commercials and all of that
gum,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they were kind of sheepish about kissing each other if you had fresh breath, and it was innocent. Mm-hmm. But now you'll see a commercial, and it has this nice music, and have you taken your AIDS medicine yet? It's like, damn, that's how extreme we have come from. There was no such thing as all these kind of medical things that they're trying to push on you, and the sexual medicines and herpes, AIDS, all this other kind of crazy stuff. But back in the day, it was unheard of commercials like that. Now, I can't even fathom, being a young person now, just getting inundated with all of this stuff,
The filth is insane. And like, this is from the Super Bowl a few years back. Stripper poles.
Yeah.
Families watch the Super Bowl, guys. Families with little kids.
Now let me ask you something. How could they get mad at Janet Jackson but then go do this?
Janet Jackson's like, man, I was PG-13 compared to you prostitutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember
about 10 years ago, I don't know how long ago, I'm picking up my kids. I think they were in middle school. And on the radio, it just happened to be hip hop station, whatever. I don't know the artist. I don't know the song. And because I can't stand that kind of music. And I heard the line, though, come out of the speakers of my Toyota Camry. And it said, eat the booty like groceries.
Whoa.
And I'm like, it's 3 in the fucking afternoon. Yeah. Why are you playing this right now? This is insane. Of course there are kids and families. What are we, 3 in the afternoon, public FM radio station? Yep. Totally insane to me. I don't get it. I don't like, it's, again, I'm like, am I awake? Is this really happening? It's totally crazy.
Yeah, look at the like, speaking of innocent commercials, remember the Country Crock commercial, the butter or margarine or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Right, now hands. You know what they do to the butter now.
Yeah, now it'll be like on the table with a dildo or something. No! It'd be disgusting. But it was like a man and a woman, and they were like innocently touching each other's hands and being flirtatious. Like it was, it was promoting men and women. Right now, that'd be 2 dudes' hands, or one of them had like black nail polish. It would be weird. Hey, more Country Crock, bro. Be yelling it from the other room.
Gotta punch it before you munch it.
No. All right. Who is this David? I've never seen you behave this way, Dave.
I hope I didn't bring this bring this Dave out. So it's not my fault.
It's an older boy told him these words. An older boy did.
But dude, it's so disgusting. I mean, look at TV. The top TV shows were families. They had a dad, they had a mom, a bunch of kids, big old house. You know, it was, and everybody could relate. That's why the Cosbys, anybody of any color, if they come from the right era, that was their show. Everybody in that show was black, but that wasn't the point. And they were rich. They were a lawyer and a doctor. That's not the norm, but that wasn't the point. It was the things they went with their kids, a dumb thing their kids would do. I got caught with a joint in my room or whatever. It was things that we could all relate to, and it was something that brought us
caught with
all
that
together.
Country crock in his room,
and it was empty. The jug was empty. That was the problem. It didn't have nothing left in it. But it was something that brought us together. You know, everybody didn't have their little mini TV in their lap, all spread out around the house in different rooms. We all had to come together and watch some good, wholesome shit on TV. And to speak to your point, how powerful that is. Remember being a little boy and watching a karate movie? What'd you do when you turned that movie off? You went to go do karate on somebody.
Jericho, I don't know if you know, I made an entire career out of it.
Yeah.
If you had a little brother,
I made a career out of drawing people punching the shit out of each other. So thank you,
exactly.
We had a little Super 8 camera, my neighbor, and we would go onto his roof, and I would jump off of his roof, and then we would get the film and we would play it backwards so it looked like I jumped onto the roof, like those martial arts films.
Yeah. Like you didn't know that was the worst editing ever?
Yeah.
Dude, Kung Fu Theater every Saturday morning. Kung Fu Theater.
On USA, right? On basic
USA.
cable?
After
my brother Abe, who's in the chat, we would watch that all the time. And then we'd be
my older brother. After we watched wrestling, I hated it because that's when he was going to start trying the camel clutch on me or the Boston crab or the figure four leg lock or whatever. Because that's how powerful it is. Kids would emanate that.
I'll put you in the camel clutch and make you humble.
Break your back like I broke Hulk Hogan's back. I remember being 7 years old, WrestleMania 1. I started crying because I thought Andre the Giant was killing Hulk Hogan. I was seeing it on the TV, and we were at the Espinos. They were these Mexican girls that live right by my grandparents' restaurant. Me and my brother Abe were there, and I was like, no, because he was beating the crap out of Hulk Hogan. And again, storytelling, entertainment, it's real. It's not real, but it's real in your mind, and that's why it's so important. You know, and again, this is my favorite show of all time. Now, you will notice, hold on.
House.
I'm very handsome like Michael Landon, but I'm not a white guy like Michael Landon, yet somehow I relate to him. I relate to his humanity, his selflessness, how he's a committed father and husband, and he works hard, tilling the ground and being a farmer and all this stuff, pillar of his community. He's outspoken when evil shit goes on. And thank God, me and Abe, who's in the chat over and over again, my brother, my mom didn't let us watch stuff like this.
No, or The Simpsons.
No, wasn't allowed to watch this crap. She saw one episode of it at my aunt's house. My aunt said, you got to watch this. It's hilarious. We watched it there, and I'll never forget. There were like male strippers with hard hats on. I was like 8 years old, and everyone was watching it. I was terrified, like so embarrassed that this was on the TV. But we weren't allowed to watch this stuff. Now, I've seen it since. It's funny, but just like eating fast food, sure, it tastes good, but do it long enough and it'll kill you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's funny. I get it. Deadpool's funny. But I wanted to walk out of the Deadpool movie because it was so filthy. You know, and I think this filth, it is bad for us. It's bad for our spirit. It's bad for our mind. And eventually, it's bad on a long enough timeline for our outlook on the world and the way we're going to behave in it and function in society. So I want to get back to this. I want to make stuff like this. Go ahead.
Gabe, on the Deadpool tip, did you see in Deadpool 2 in the X Mansion they put Karl Marx's portrait in the background?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, look up that picture.
I did. I'll look it up, but I didn't see it because I didn't see Deadpool 2. Because Deadpool 1, I wanted to walk out after 10, 20 minutes. I won't see Deadpool 2, and I wish them nothing but failure with those movies. It's filth of the highest order. And the reason Deadpool, hold on, now I'm pissed. The reason Deadpool really pisses me off is because I know grandparents, aunts, and uncles who don't, it's not their fault. They don't know any better.
Yeah.
They take kids to see it. It's
they think it's Spider-Man. They think it's like a Spider-Man thing.
And then I could see the grandpa to the grandma, but it's rated R. Well, they probably just have a lot of guns. It's fine. You know, a little action violence. Maybe it's a little violent, but you know, he's 12. And then you got a dildo and cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
That's not appropriate for children ever. I won't debate that with anyone. Okay. Yeah. You want to debate that with me? I need to see your hard drive. Okay.
Bullshit. Yeah, show me your hard drive. Let me see your search history.
Don't joke around and show kids like that. There's no exception. That is not okay. And I know for a fact, not a fact that I know people, but just my common sense tells me tons of kids who shouldn't have seen that crap went and saw it. And that pisses me off of that Deadpool movie. Disgusting filth. So thank you, Mom, for raising me that way. But I had a just disgust with filth. I hate it. You know, so what were you going to say? Oh, you want me to find Karl Marx, but go ahead. Go ahead, guys.
We do need a dose of wholesomeness.
Yes.
That would definitely help. We've gone too far the wrong way. But I'm fortunate, like you said, Dave. I was born a little after. I was born in 80, but I still got to see the better side of things before it changed into this. Sure. I think my generation kind of has, one foot in both worlds because we were young. We were that age, that impressionable age when we changed over to this new technological age that we live in. But I always have a soft spot for 80s and 90s TV and movies and the music. That's my favorite. The 80s, my wife and kids make fun of me all the time if we're in the car going somewhere and I turn on like a song from the 80s comes on. I like it. I'm listening to it. I don't give a damn what. That's elevator music. I don't care. Now you're going to make me turn it up and not change the station. I love it.
Well, you're still in the age range of repeat television. You know what I mean? So you would see things over and over, and it wasn't like how everything now is. There's no such thing as repeat. It's the new thing, the new thing, the new thing, the new thing. Right. So you got to see, good things being put into your things that you like, that you really received well over and over. So
yeah, it's new now. Next, everything is 30 seconds and it's like vapor. John Stater, I got to address this comment. Thank you so much, John. Awesome conversation. I have to hit the road, but I'll watch the rest of the stream later. Just subscribe to Jericho's channel. Thank you. Bot Truth, Justice, American Way. Love you guys. Love you too, baby. This is how we're going to turn it around.
Thank you.
We're going to get rid of this. Getting rid of Karl Marx, and we're getting rid of this, and we're going to this here, guys. And we're going back to Little House on the Prairie. We're going back to Steven Seagal and Van Damme teaching you how to be a tough guy and stand up for the little guy. We're going back, and we're going to make it awesome. We're going to make it awesome. It's so good. We already won. Bad guys just don't know it yet. When you think I'm kidding. You think I'm kidding? Dude, this right here, $100 million is the rumor. And they said, nah, they're not releasing it anywhere. And now, Jericho, Dave, I'm obsessed with seeing this movie now. I have to know. I have to know.
Bro, it's bad.
How bad is this thing? Because if you gave me $100 million and I had access to some of the best actors, visual artists, and writers in Hollywood, they're there. They may be woke, but they're super talented, many of them. I could make something with $100 million, and they won't even put this thing out on like Crackle or one of those weird streaming things. So
Betamax.
We're releasing on VHS only.
Right. It's gonna come out on Laserdisc,
Oh,
so.
we had Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom on Laserdisc.
That's right.
Loved it.
Okay, so which Indiana Jones is the best one? And I know the right answer, but go ahead and be wrong.
One.
What do you think, Jericho?
I got to go Temple of Doom.
Oh, I agree with David. I think the first one's the best.
It was good. It was great. But Kadi Ma Shakti Day, when he took the dude's heart out, man, that was cold.
That was scary. I saw that when I was 8 or 9. My mom's religious and doesn't like us watching Filth, so she turned that one off at that scene. So I didn't see it again until I was in college, that movie. But I saw it. But she bought me the other two, and we would watch them over and over and over. But she couldn't cotton to the demonic priest pulling a heart out. She was not cool with that. So.
Good mom.
Sadly, I think the one that you like should have came out first, and then the first one should have came out second, because after you do Indiana Jones dealing with the power of God, everything else is a step down. You know what I mean? So you have to build up to that story.
Right. Oh, that does make sense.
They're all of them were great movies. Even the first three, the Crystal Skull. I've never seen that nonsense.
Yeah,
but the first three, I would think Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, and then Raiders.
Wow.
Because Last Crusade, you know, the Holy Grail and all that kind of stuff. So I think that would fit in, like you said, the build up to it. But maybe it's because the time in my life that I saw it. But Temple of Doom, that is my favorite. My kids love it. I'm so glad when you got kids and they like the stuff that you used to like. They don't do it always, but it's awesome, man. And I do that to my son. We'll be wrestling, and I'll go Karima Shakti Day like that on his. Oh man,
that's awesome.
That was a great movie. In Short Round, you call him Dr. Jones, man. I'll watch any of them, but Temple, that was my favorite.
Right. So I'm going to hammer it one more time. The tokenism nonsense, right? So Harrison Ford, me, again, like Michael Landon, equally handsome in different ways.
I thought that was.
But I was inspired by this guy. You thought it was me. You did. But I wanted to be Han Solo when I was 7 years old. That's who I wanted to be. I lied to my brother in first grade that the teacher brought in the TV and put on a cassette tape that there was a fourth Star Wars movie that my brother never heard of, and I made up the whole story. And the main character was a guy, Jameson, and he was a bounty hunter. I still remember the story. My brother was thrilled. Then I told him it was made up BS. Star Wars fanatic. I worked on the Star Wars comics. It was the first thing I drew when I was like 3 years old. I used to love to draw Star Wars battles. I wanted to be Han Solo so bad. I'm not a white guy. Don't have, what has he got? Green eyes? Ford. What is that? British, that name? Sounds British. I'm Jabril Abdulati Atib. That's very Arabic, in case you didn't notice. Still wanted to be this guy. So when you do your woke garbage representation, you're just being a white liberal savior. Knock it off. It's super racist. It's dumb. And now you have to shelve a $100 million movie. So congratulations. Keep up the failure. You're just giving me more sales. Thank you.
You know
Keep
what?
it up.
You know what, Gabe? Let me tell you the bits that I picked out of what you just said.
Let's go.
The fact that you made that up to your brother makes me believe that you're the older brother.
No, I'm a year and a half younger.
You're the younger brother. That sounds like something an older brother.
Yeah, that does.
I'm the younger brother, so I was going to go to bat for him, but he's the older brother. You just lost that one, Abe. You just got to take that L, Abe.
Yeah.
No.
That's something my brother definitely would have done to me. My brother was the worst older brother.
No, we're strange brothers. We never fight almost. And growing up, we never fought. We fought a little bit as adults, as you do when you have discussions. But as kids, we never, ever fought. We were thick as thieves. You know what I mean? We were always in it together because it was a divorced household. So, you really got to rely on each other. You know what I mean?
And you guys are closer in age. My brother and I are 4 years apart.
All right.
So he would always pick on me.
Oh, my God. Okay. All right. I got it. Story time. Gather round, children. You want to talk about some older brother gangster shit? This is my brother doing this to me. So I got a vivid imagination, as David knows, as people who subscribe to this channel. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell for notification. We have a lot of fun here. I can improv comedy, improv stories, improv my YouTube videos. I can just do it. It's a gift I have. So I got a good imagination, but when you're little, that can backfire because you can just believe shit when you hear it. So I'm about 4 or 5 years old. My brother's a year and a half older, and my mom had a Corvette, and we're with my grandparents. And he's going to drive 2 blocks down the street, fill up the gas for my mom, and bring it back. So we're going to ride with Pampy. That's my grandpa, the World War II guy. So we ride to the gas station. He gets out to pay in cash at the window. We're sitting in the back of the car, 4 and 5 years old. My brother turns to me and goes, "That's not Pampy. That's a robot. He's trying to kidnap me." And he knows damn well this shit ain't true. And I freak out. I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm a Star Wars fan. And robots, this shit is real. Darth Vader's real. It's all real to me. I'm like, we got to get out of here. I steal the keys. Abe follows me, and we run home the 2-3 blocks. Now, my grandpa's been working since he was like 3 years old. Great Depression, working on farms, working here, working there. Dropped out of school at 3, started working like at 8. Sorry. Bad knees is what I'm trying to say. Like limping like this. and he comes limping home about a half hour later. Now, as an adult with children myself, I could imagine the terror.
Oh,
and the panic.
man.
Your grandchildren disappear. You ain't got a cell phone, nothing. But I'm sure he called from the gas station to the house. Grandma told him we were playing in the front yard. So we ran home with the keys to get away from the evil robot. My grandfather was the kindest, sweetest man. Never laid a finger on me in my life. He kicked me in my butt so hard with his cowboy boot. And I deserved every bit of that.
That's
because
right.
as a parent, you think they're dead.
Oh,
you think
man.
the child molester got them. You think they're gone.
The
And
worst.
your heart is shattered. And that so that's how Abe got me with the Corvette story.
And you're somebody else's kids.
Right.
You're
right.
your grandpa, but
his daughter's children. He
oh
loves
my
them,
goodness.
you know. So thank you, Abe. So see, that's the other older brother shit right there.
That's what I thought you were doing to him, but damn, turns out
no, I just lied about Star Wars because I lied about Star Wars because I wanted it to be true. I remember reading something about there would be no new Star Wars, and I was so sad. I wanted them to keep making those movies. So it was everything.
How did you feel about the newer one that came out? What, 99? That was like the.
I feel about those the way you feel about like Kentucky Fried Chicken when you're hungry. Like it's good, but it's because you're hungry, but you wouldn't choose to eat there if you had your choice. McDonald's, all this. It's like the new movies. I mean, we all know about the new movies. That's like eating out of the dumpster behind Burger King, not even in Burger King. The new movie.
You saw some homeless dude climb out of the dumpster and pull his pants up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The new ones
with some country crock.
The ones in the 90s.
There's some country crock in there for you.
The ones in the 90s feel like what I believe they are. They are unrefined, unedited George Lucas scripts where he was so powerful and in that organization, probably nobody could check him. So he would just write whatever goofy stuff. And, you know, I told you I'm big into writing. I've been doing writing since forever. And there's a saying in writing is rewriting. You know, the other thing, you got to kill your darlings. You write this scene, you write this line of dialogue. It's a little too precious. It's a little too convenient. It's a little too cool or whatever. You can take people out of a story when you write this stuff that's self-indulgent. So I feel like, you know, watching those 90s Star Wars, nobody said, George, this isn't working. People don't want to see a Senate arguing for half the movie. People have C-SPAN. It's a free channel. You know, C-SPAN's free. We don't need galactic C-SPAN. You know, so I mean the storyline of the 1999 Phantom Menace is like a trade embargo. Come on, George, you knew that was stupid when you wrote that. You know, please
I've seen people and heard him talk.
Light the way, violence. Come on, let's just get some violence and action in there. Come on.
And you know, talking to people over the years who are big fans of it, you know, obviously that's known as a real turd. But I think one of the things that really pissed people off was that it was so long between, you know, the Return of the Jedi and all that, the ones from the 70s. So you had a couple decades to get it right.
Yeah.
And this is what you gave the people?
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh. That reminds me of a Seinfeld moment where George and Jerry are trying to steal the answering machine tape from the girlfriend because George left a horrible message or something. So in order for Jerry to steal the tape, George has to distract her and get her out of the room. So George calls her into the room and Jerry steals the tape. But when they come out of the room, she says, "That's what you wanted to tell me, George? Your father wears his shoes in the pool?" You know, and it's kind of like, that's what you wanted to make, George? You had 15 years to make a new Star Wars and you made Jar Jar Binks? This is what we've been waiting for?
Man.
What in the hell are you doing? So, they were a letdown. So, yeah.
And just the money and resources they have behind that to give people, you know, that was messed up. I feel for you guys.
Oh, look at this. Shamadeus watched the behind the scenes of the Phantom Menace. Nobody checked him at all. He thought Jar Jar was the next Mickey Mouse. Wow.
Damn. Well, you know that when you're on that level, you know, we've all seen like in the late 80s and stuff, big action stars like Sylvester Stallone or something. They make these horrible movies because they're at the top of the heap. Ain't nobody gonna tell them nothing. You're the man. Right. Everything you touch turns to gold. So that's how you get Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. You know what I mean? Because nobody told him, Sylvester, this is horrible.
I saw Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Another moment with Abe. On Abe's 16th birthday, we saw that in Mira Mesa at the Edwards 12 Cinema. I had just started collecting comics. I just started collecting comics like the month before. I had Wizard Magazine 8 in my hand, a Wills Portacio Bishop cover. A lot of people don't know Bishop is Filipino. A lot of people think he's black, but Wills Portacio is a Filipino guy. Anyway, I remember that stupid movie because I'm very, very tall, and I always have been. And my knees hit the chair in front of me a few times during the movie, and I didn't mean anything by it. But it was an older man in front of me. And at the end of the movie, he said, "You've been kicking my chair the whole movie. I'm going to kick your ass." And I stood up because he was standing up. And it was like he was standing up. And I stood up and went right past him. And he's just like, "Well, you better watch it next time."
Next time. Get out of here, you old bastard.
I'm like, "See you next week, Playboy. I'll see you." Here, there's a matinee of Land Before Time on Tuesday. I'll see you there.
You better get out of here before I roll this comic book up, put some country crock on it. Better get going, Pops.
Right.
That's
So,
terrible.
hey, I wanted to ask the two of you, how did you guys get together? How long have you two known each other? Because I know David told me you contacted him. Have you known each other for a while, or is this just you just reached out, or what's going on?
Very recently, and
Okay.
I've been following him for forever and kind of stalking him, or like I said earlier before we even went on the air, that I'm a big fan, and when I'm drawing, I'll listen to him. But there's this one particular time he was live streaming, because I used to write him on Instagram, and I was like, oh, he doesn't write back. And I would make little comments in his Instagram things, and he would put a like by it. I said, okay, so he sees me, but maybe he just doesn't read his messages. And then I saw him on a live stream, and I said, hey, you don't answer your messages on your live stream. And he read it, and I was just like, oh, and it wasn't a super chat. And, and he gave me his contact through there, and I was like, Eureka.
All right. Okay, so it's recent. Okay, yeah, I just got to know you about a week or two ago, right, Jericho? Something like that.
Yeah.
I think,
About
like
the
2 weeks
same.
ago, reached out, yeah. But here's the magazine I was holding when that guy backed down, so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember from the X-Men.
Right.
See, when I was in junior high school, like 7th, 8th grade, so 93, 94, I'll say 92 to 94, X-Men cards were huge.
Right.
People were trading them, had their abilities on the back and little power bars and how good they were at different things. Yeah, Bishop was the shit, man. That's the X-Men that I knew in the X-Men cartoon in the late 90s, with Rogue and all that. That was the X-Men movie that I expected when they started making the movies. I was like, oh, this shit's going to be good. And they're going to have the yellow and blue, suits with the red X and everything. This is going to be great. And it's like a fast food commercial. On the commercial, the burger's this big. You got the burger, and they got drops of water on the tomato and shit and everything. But when you get there, it's just this mashed something that looked like somebody was sitting on it before they handed it to you. Because those movies were trash. Logan, I'd say, was the best one only because it was R-rated and it was more real. But I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, man, the leather suit, that shit was garbage. But that's the X-Men that I knew. That's what I was expecting. The Bishop and the what's his name? Who was Sabretooth and all, the villains and stuff. I was like, okay, but nah, man, that did not pan out. That was awful.
Those were all the Jim Lee cards, right, Gabe?
Yep, the Jim Lee 100. It was 100 trading card set. Jim Lee did. Yeah, insane. That was an amazing time for comics.
Yeah,
the old pre-woke days. It's what made me want to do it, man. What made me want to do it. Sad to see the state it's come to.
I hope we get back to it. I never thought I'd see a day where anybody related to Superman was kissing a dude in his mouth.
You got hey Jericho, you got about $100 million you're not using right now?
No, I'm using it all. So
I'm asking for a friend who's out 100 mil right now.
Yeah.
So,
if you get a hold of any footage from that movie, please email it to me.
I want
There's got to be a trailer or something.
I want to see it with the executives and the editors sitting with me in the theater.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna do that thing. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be watching it, just like eating popcorn, just laughing. I'm gonna just keep looking over at them like, nice. I like it.
What 100 mil buys these days, huh? Ew.
Right. And I'm just gonna be thinking, that's another sale for Truth, Justice, American Way. You know what I mean?
Right.
This
You
is
can't-
like Imagine DC Comics owns a restaurant, and then me and Dave own a restaurant called Truth, Justice, American Way. And you find out in the news they're putting paper clips in their food at DC Comics restaurant. They're not YouTube. It's an analogy. And I want to hear that they're going to keep that up. And in fact, I want them to do more. I'll send them paper clips if they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want if I'm on the football team, you know, and we're playing the Buccaneers, I want Tom Brady injured that week. I don't want to play the best. Hell no. I want to win. And I want to run the score up. So many zeros at the end. It looks like it says, ooh, the score. I want to crush these guys. So please, never change. You're on the right path. Double down, triple down. It's just, guys, you're going to turn the corner. Everyone loves woke. Just keep going. It's going to work. I promise.
Taking truth, justice, and the American way from Superman is like taking his cape. That's you've never heard anybody else say those words. Those are that's his slogan. That's his I'm loving it. That's his thing.
Yeah.
And for you to take that away and then just cast it aside, I'm not glad that we're living in the times we're living in with all this woke crap. But on the other hand, I am. Because if we weren't, you guys wouldn't be able to take this and do what you're doing with it. That is I'm happy for that. But how stupid can you be to take? What did you think was going to happen? Truth, justice, and a better tomorrow? I don't give a damn about tomorrow. Didn't Superman land here?
Yeah,
didn't he crash land in America?
Exactly.
Well, damn it, that's all I want to hear.
That
I don't want to hear
pretty...
about truth, justice, and everybody else. Truth, justice, and the American way, because America gave us Superman.
Right.
America made Superman.
Right.
That's who he protects.
Let's go a step further. And if you love what I'm about to say, you're going to love buying this book. So I need you to buy it. This is the culture war. This is how we fight back. So Superman, Truth, Justice, American Way, all that. What makes Superman super is not his power or his strength. It's not the laser eyes and the speed and all the super hearing and all the fantastic. That's nothing. That's not what makes him super. What makes him super is his resolve, his character, his sense of right and wrong, how he's loving, how he uses restraint. He's so powerful. He could rule the world as a tyrant king, right? He can enslave the world because who's going to stop him? But crash landed here, and his American, Kansas heartland, Christian farmer parents moralized him, cultured him, taught him language, taught him religion, taught him about what it means to be an American, and he uses that every day in conjunction with his powers. So to say the American way doesn't matter, you're kidding yourself. You're high, man. You're totally high. So
high as a kite.
Right. So that's what we have here. And I'm glad that it's a dead trademark. They don't have any legal right to defend Truth, Justice, American Way. So David and I are actually going to defend it by making this amazing book. You know, I'm so proud to be doing this. Thrilled to be working with a guy like that.
Tell Jericho how it came to be.
How did it come to be? Well, I was working with a friend on another project, a friend who I've mended fences with, by the way, Dave. We've been talking on that thing at Christmas, that buddy, the bad falling out we had. We were mending fences, and this is a private matter, but I'm so overjoyed. I knew this would happen. But Dave, we were working on Bass Reeves, which, oh my gosh, I'll show you some of that. Bass Reeves is the Lone Ranger. He's a real guy, black guy, by the way, bounty hunter, most prolific, God-fearing, amazing bounty hunter in the Old West. Anyway, we were working on that forever. I thought Dave hated me. He would always send me notes, change this, color this, that, do this here, but he wasn't. He saw my potential, and he wanted to push me to the maximum. You know what I mean? So Dave illustrates, I color. That's how we do it together. And one day out of the blue, I don't know specifically why, but Dave called me up and pitched me this idea. What if we had this classic team, like in Avengers, like a Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman trilogy, Trinity? What if we had a team like that and blah, blah, blah? I don't want to give too much of the story away, but basically they get canceled by the fake news. And what if we had a team like that and we showed how heart and character and heritage and all these things we believe in helps them come back? You know, that this American culture help that the way that we are encultured to be as Americans, to be hopeful, to be brave, to stand together as brother and sister and stand up for one another and stand up for the truth and stand up for justice, stand up for the American way, how those things will set these people free and help them save the world. He pitched this idea to me and I loved it. So I wrote an entire story based off the premise, created characters, the villains and side characters, and I sent it back to Dave and he said, "Oh, Gabe's serious." because apparently David given this idea to some other people, and in our business, there's a lot of talk, well, there's not a lot of action sometimes. But I was desperate for a great project like this, and it's just it's serendipity. It's just perfect to me. So I hope that's what you were asking me, Dave.
Yep.
Yep. Spoken like true partners. Yep.
Right. But I mean, look at this. Is so beautiful. It's such a joy to work on this stuff. I would say to the fans, every single one of you that have spent a single red cent on this, especially with Biden inflation, thank you so much because you've given me my life back as an artist. Dude, I am happier and healthier and wealthier, better relationship with God, my wife, my kids. I'm debt free. Like, my life is better than it's ever been, and you guys pay so I can do this when you finance this book, and I will not let you down. The stuff David is showing me, the pencil stuff, oh my gosh, it's going to blow your face off when you see it. Better than anything Marvel and DC are putting out. Better. You hear that? Hold on. I put my name on it. That's me. That's my name, Gabe LT. We're better than you, Marvel and DC. We're way better. You can't hold my jock, and David's neither. We're way better. This is so much more entertaining, much more beautiful. We are giving people exactly what they want. So you go out and get it right now, guys. You're going to freaking love it because me and David love it. I mean, you got anything you want to add, Dave?
Nope.
I went on too long. I'm sorry. I'm passionate about it. I won't apologize. Actually, I'm very passionate.
Not at all. You know what? I will be getting my copy, and I will be reading it with my son because I think it's important to plant those seeds and to give them things, to give them tools and weapons that they can combat the nonsense with. So when the world tells them you're a victim or whatever, like, no, that's not my experience. That's not what I believe. That's not what I've been told. That's not what I've seen. So something like this would definitely help in that. And it's a comic book. My son is going to love that, man.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited. He's going to love it. Anytime, because, kids, they get older, they become teenagers. They don't want to hang around with you anymore. So anytime I can spend some time with him before that comes, man, that'll be awesome. And just a quick, who are the characters?
David, you want to take over from here? These are your 3 original creations.
Well, they are truth, justice, and the American way. So they all embody those traits in some way through this story. And it's going to be a nice homage to the things that we all loved in comics in the first place. All of those heroes, the avuncular father type heroes, instead of the young teen heart throb, and sexy and all that kind of stuff. These are, older, mature people who have their heads on right, that get tested. So that's their code names that they have. So that's basically what we have: truth, justice, American way.
Yeah.
And a movie in the future? Would you guys be?
Oh yeah.
You guys be opposed to that?
Your lips to God's ears.
That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, this thing just lends itself to action figures and cartoons or movies. It looks amazing. This is my favorite guy, Justice. He's your Charles Bronson of the group. He's the skull breaker, this guy. You can't see it in this drawing, but he has on his nightstick engraved the hard way, and on his pistol it says the easy way. So
you want it the easy?
Right. You want it the easy way, you want it the hard way.
That's probably going to be the dude that I gravitate toward. I like that.
I like that.
Not to bring up another one, but like the Dread character from the graphic novel, not the movie, not the Sylvester Stallone, but that gruff, no nonsense. I already told you once kind of dude. I think I'm gonna like Justice.
Absolutely.
Oh, here it is.
The funny thing about Judge Dredd, those British guys, they were trying to make that character as a mock of our justice system, and they wanted to make Judge Dredd look like a jerk and a bad guy, but it backfired and people loved him, and they were like, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That dude was awesome. He already warned you. That's it.
Because internally, we know that's the right way to handle justice and law. No nonsense. Right. Get to the heart of it and end it.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that, man. That's awesome. I think that's going to be my favorite guy because, like you said, man, we all know what's right, and you know that you have to eventually handle that kind of element that way. You can only bark for so long. Eventually, you got to bite them, and when you bite them hard, and you tear at their flesh, and you let them know they've been in an entanglement. Not to take Jada Pinkett's words, but you know what I mean. Like eventually, I've told you enough. Now I got to do something about it. I like that.
All right. So this is a very special person here. Ink Art 1. He is the inker. I don't know, Jericho, if you know comics. They're drawn in pencil by one person typically, and to speed things up, a second artist will do the ink on top of the pencil to finish it. Then a third guy like me will paint it, color paint it on the computer. You know what I mean? So that's how we combine the art. Some guys will do the pencil and ink themselves, then ship it to me to color. But this is our inker, Gary, inking all that beautiful art you saw. He wants to know, does the inker get any money from the T-John movie?
A valid question.
Yeah. No, I would, Dave, I mean, I think we could at least get him dinner at Denny's, right?
Yeah. We could get him some country crock.
Hey.
No, not the country crock.
We'll butter them muffins real well.
No.
Not the country crock.
Gary, you can come to the premiere, but you can't have a +1. Just you.
Just you, man. That's it.
John says we let him get the grand slam at Denny's. I'm feeling generous.
Get all the slams you want, man. You earned it.
Oh man. Well, is there anything else? We've been going almost 2 hours, guys. I have another show to do tonight. This has been crazy fun though, Jericho.
You know, I do have a question because it's rare that I'm around people in the business.
Okay.
As an outsider, when I saw Batman versus Superman, the movie, as you mentioned, Superman could do anything he wants and nobody could stop him.
Basically.
How in the hell is Batman a human with no superpowers? Yes, he got the gadgets. He has the gadget game unlocked. He's Mr. Sharper Image. But how in the hell are you going to defeat Superman? I've talked to my friends about this, and we're all of a like mind where he could fly up in the sky and I laser beam you in half. He could fly right through you. He could freeze you with his breath. How in the hell does Batman beat Superman? Do you guys feel the same way?
David is much nerdier than me on these deep, deep comic book facts. I will let David handle this question. I do have an opinion, but go ahead, David.
Well, that was the whole point of the movie, is that Batman was so enraged that he lost sense of any kind of judgment, and his hubris got in the way. And also, if you looked at what he was doing, he was goading him on to advance on him so he could use that kryptonite infused bullet that exploded in him to make him weaker so he would have a fighting chance. So that's the only way. And they took that from Frank Miller's book, years ago,
right?
When Green Arrow shot a kryptonite arrow and it exploded in his face, and it made it so that Batman could have a fighting chance against a weakened Superman. But of course, logically, there's no way. But Superman, being the good-natured person that he is that he wanted to talk to him and say, hey, I don't want to fight, there's something else I need to talk to you about. And Batman just wasn't hearing it because he was just in his rage over what happened in Metropolis, and it destroyed some Wayne Tower, where these Wayne Enterprises and all those people died. So he's just enraged, and he wasn't ready to hear reason until he said, Martha. Why did you say that name? People think that's dumb, but comics in general, you have to have some of those allowances and stuff like that. And
right.
In comics, that was a common thing, but people didn't put the thing together to make it a sticking point in a story, because both of their parents are named Martha, But right there, when Superman said that to Batman, it humanized Superman to Batman right at that moment, because Batman was just going to kill this monster that he was seeing, but it made him human when he said, Martha, wait, my mama's name is Martha. What Martha are you? What are you talking about? You know, there's something personal right there.
Right.
And he was talking about his own mother. And when Lois told him his own mother, it made him reflect and said, what have I become? I'm becoming the monster I don't want to be. You know, so that's what. See, I got all nerdy and stuff.
Well, that's what I needed to hear. I needed to hear, you know, the technical end of it.
Right.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
No, yeah, David's right. Batman didn't have a chance, but his rage was just fog. So he's like, I'm gonna do it, and he didn't have a chance. And again, it's a great display of Superman's love and kindness and that American way of being an upstanding moral person. That his Kansas farmer parents said, hey, you're strongest man on earth. Don't go around killing people with your eye lasers. You know, use your eye lasers to do something, destroy an evil robot. Don't burn your crazy bat billionaire friend because he lost his mind. He ain't gonna hurt you. Just keep your cool. This is all what his American way, what his parents taught him. So again, for DC Comics to say the American way is a joke, I say DC Comics, you're a joke, and not a very funny one either, but a very expensive one. Ask Batgirl, a very expensive
$100 million joke that's not funny. That sucks.
Oh man,
I think America is, I guess, Superman would mirror America, but we're the same way. We could easily take over the world. I don't want China. China's nothing. We would walk through China like they're not even there, because all their soldiers are not going to fight, because you have a starving population. They're going to put their guns down and come over here and get something to eat. So I think there's no military in the world that could stop us. If this were old school, if this were the 18, 17, 1600s or something, and we have it the way we have it now with our military and our budget and our technology, we could do the same thing. Russia and China, those would be our only two obstacles.
Right.
Mogadishu, you ain't doing nothing. Burma, you ain't doing nothing. Europe, you ain't doing nothing. We are your military. So we could easily turn this whole world into one big Walmart if we wanted to. So I think in that way, we are Superman-like. We do have the ability, but we also have the restraint. And that's also something that you get from your father. You have the ability to hurt, but you need to show some restraint.
That's important for men. It's important for men to be strong and powerful, and then to be judicious and kind with it.
America has turned into Superman from Superman 3. Remember when Richard Pryor made that fake kryptonite and it turned him evil, and he became a drinker and all that kind of stuff?
That's was at the bar.
Yeah. That's what America is now. It's just like, you know,
drunk, haggard piece
Superman,
of shit.
Exactly. Dark,
but
costumes all dirty.
Yeah, and it was the boots and the red was like darker and all dingy and stuff. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Gabe, remember I was just
absolute mess. He's sitting there just like drinking shots or drinking beers. And as a little kid, it did scared is the wrong word, but it disturbed me to see Superman behaving that way as a little kid. Like, no, Superman, you're good. What are you doing? Yeah. It really unsettled me as a little kid, but I was very little, so I didn't get it. Again, this is right there with Hulk Hogan dying at the hands of Andre the Giant. Not terrible. Oh. You know, you're a little, or my grandpa, the evil robot kidnapping us. Very vivid imagination going on in my 7-year-old brain.
Rocky. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was going to say, remember the story I was just telling you before we went on the air, Gabe, about this the Superman story I pitched to Paul Levitt?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful story.
But imagine like if that Superman came back to Earth after all these years and he goes, you know, what happened to the big bad Boy Scout or something like that? He said, what's the Boy Scouts? You know, because the Boy Scouts don't even exist
They take girls. The Boy Scouts take girls.
Yeah, and it's just like Superman would be disgusted. But like, what the heck?
Superman would be like, you know what? I don't want to have to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and destroy this planet.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but this planet is out of control.
You got
country crock everywhere. You guys got to go.
Yeah. No, I mean,
shit's everywhere.
He comes in like, what is this shit?
Dave, get serious, man.
He's like, I don't even know how you got this on the ceiling, man. It's like,
but
I mean, really,
that's
when you
never
think about-
leaving this show, by the way. Country Crock is staying here.
that's it.
Right.
But my Superman moment would be Rocky 3 when Rocky was beating Clubber Lang, because I was a huge Mr. T fan, A-Team, all that. I was right there. So when he was beating up Clubber Lang and he knocked him out, I thought he was dead. I ran in the kitchen where my mom was crying, saying, Mr. T is dead. And she came in there and looked, and she laughed a little bit. She's like, oh, no. He's not dead, honey. It's just a movie. But I thought he was dead, man. I was crying. Mr. T is dead. What the hell am I going to watch every week now? He had the cartoon. He was on. He wrestled with Hulk Hogan sometimes. Mr. T was the man.
Yep.
And I thought that was it, man. I thought he was
Yeah.
gone.
Right. Thought you were gonna have to pour one out for Mr. T.
And I would have too.
Hey boy. Hey boy.
That's one of the coldest lines ever. We said, Clever, you got any predictions for the fight? He said, pain.
Right.
That's right up there with Jesse the Body Ventura in Predator, where he says, I ain't got time to duck. Or he says, oh, you're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Right.
What did he say to Rocky's woman? Is that your woman? Why don't you come over here and be with a real man?
Right. And Stallone loses it.
The disrespect.
Oh, yeah.
The disrespect. Oh, my goodness.
You know, Mr. T is one of the great names in badassery, but it doesn't translate. You know, he'd be Senor T. You know,
Oh, today he'd be Mr. Transgender.
Yeah, Mr. Trans.
Mr. Trans.
He'd be Mr. T.
Oh,
Yeah.
he'd be
Awesome.
Mr. Spill the Tea. Elijah Elvis, thank you very much, very generous. Just got Truth Justice cover. Keep killing it, boys. Sir, yes, sir. We will keep doing that. Absolutely. Treat your mother right. Remember, he had a song like "Treat Your Mama
That's
right"
right.
or something like that.
Listen to your mama. They don't say
Right.
that stuff no more.
Yeah, they like your Mr. T, bro, Hawk. They love it.
Dude,
Absolutely.
Mr. T was the man.
Yeah, I loved him as a kid. Crazy with the feather earring and 8 pounds of gold on his neck.
You know how he
Denim.
started the gold? He was a bouncer outside of a club, and when he kicked people out, he'd take their chain and put it on and say, come get it. And they would
That's
never
awesome.
come get it. And he's got a bunch of them. He used to do security for famous people. Like, he was a legit tough guy. That's how he got discovered, was doing like the bouncer competition in New York. We used to have an annual bouncer competition, and he won. He was a real tough dude.
That's the first time I saw him on television. He was like crashing through doors. You know,
Yeah.
they said how fast people could crash through doors. I was like, dang, this was crazy. And he was the star for sure.
Yeah, he was swole. Mr. T wasn't no joke, man.
Yeah.
That chain thing reminded me of a hilarious Denver Broncos story. You know, Aqib Talib, Super Bowl champion with multiple teams. He got in a fight with the Raiders corner wide receiver Michael Crabtree, and he ripped the chain off. And when they asked him, "Why'd you rip off Michael Crabtree's chain?" He's all, "I told him not to wear that chain." I always thought that was one of the greatest answers I've ever heard.
My grandmama gave me that chain.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't know why you come around here messing with these people.
You want some too, old man? No. He said no.
He's gonna cry when he goes into that car.
Oh, man. Grandmama gave me that chain.
Well,
Debo's coming. Who? Debo.
Oh man,
Good
I
times.
want to end on kind of one thing here. So Superman icon, Coca-Cola icon, all this stuff, Mickey Mouse, Walt Disney. Like 2 weeks ago, it was the 67th birthday of Disneyland, opened in 55, like July 17th. I love Disneyland as an artist. I won't get into it, but I love the buildings. I love the creativity. But they took Walt Disney's opening day speech that he said in 55 on national television. They took that away from the ceremony. So you just see, again, language, culture, and borders, Jericho. You're so right on that. And when you pretend that Walt Disney didn't matter for the Disney company, you're an idiot. You're on drugs. Like, there's no way. It's named after him. He was a creative. He put up
the title,
mortgaged his house to pay for Snow White. And if that movie didn't make it, he's done. There is no Disney. He mortgaged his house to pay for that movie. And for them to have the temerity to take that speech away. Oh, so when they do this stuff to Superman, all stuff, you think it's frivolous, it's kid shit. No, Politics is downstream from culture. We will win our culture back by making that parallel economy, the parallel culture, the parallel pop culture. And we're doing it. We're doing it. And you guys make it happen. So thank you all so much. So you got anything else for him, Dave? Because I think we need to cut him loose. I got to have some dinner and do some stuff. And then I got another show at 7.
Besides the fact that we really appreciate you coming on here. I'm a huge fan. Gabe's a fan.
Yeah.
Continue doing what you're doing. You're inspiring people like me and others, and you're very important.
Thank you, guys. I only have 3 things to say. 1, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for hooking my brother up. Thank you for hooking me up. Just thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Number 2, Gabe, you got to have me on that show when you talk about them action movies.
Absolutely.
You got to get me on there. And number 3, Country Crock.
That's right.
There we go. Let's go.